Hi again. Okay, let's go through the final part now, part 3. And I'm sorry I had to split it into 3 parts because the video was really getting too long. So modal verbs part 3. In this part we will discuss ought to, need to, used to, have got to, have to, or has to for singular. So let's move on. So let's practice together the modal verb need to. An obligation or suggestion in formal situations. You need to attend the meeting. You need to attend the meeting. You need to listen to the instructions carefully. You need to listen to the instructions carefully. I need to pay my rent because it is overdue. I need to pay my rent because it is overdue. They need not attend the lesson. They need not attend the lesson. Do you need to get up early to catch the train? Do you need to get up early to catch the train? Do you need to see your doctor? Do you need to see your doctor? I need to do some urgent shopping. I need to do some urgent shopping. We need to book our flight for next week. We need to book our flight for next week. I hope this gives you a little bit of understanding. Okay, let's have a look at ought to, suggesting or, of course, giving advice. Let's read and practice the sentences together to help you improve your pronunciation. You ought to eat healthy foods at this age. You ought to eat healthy foods at this age. You ought to exercise for at least 30 minutes a day to keep fit. You ought to exercise for at least 30 minutes a day to keep fit. She ought to apologize for being rude. She ought to apologize for being rude. You ought to study more if you want to achieve good grades. You ought to study more if you want to achieve good grades. Children need to be careful when crossing the road. Children need to be careful when crossing the road. They ought to brush their teeth twice to avoid decay. They ought to brush their teeth twice to avoid decay. You ought to get your car serviced regularly. You ought to get your car serviced regularly. I ought to take up swimming lessons before going on holiday. I ought to take up swimming lessons before going on holiday. So follow me on the last slide now. Okay, this is the last slide now, so let's have a look at 2 modal verbs, used to and have got to. Used to is referring to the past activity that perhaps was carried out repeatedly, but not anymore, not in the present now. And have got to, where there is an obligation and you cannot avoid it. So let's have a look at used to first. I used to live in Chiswick, London, W4. I used to live in Chiswick, London, W4. I used to work for a bank. I used to work for a bank. He used to smoke in his young days. He used to smoke in his young days. We used to do horse riding as a hobby. We used to do horse riding as a hobby. I didn't used to like spicy food. I didn't used to like spicy food. I used to learn German in school. I used to learn German in school. I used to drive to work. I used to drive to work. Let's have a look at have got to, and look at the sentences. I've got to go to the bank to sort things out. I've got to go to the bank to sort things out. I've, of course, is an abbreviation for I have, and it's showing the obligation of having to go to the bank. You've got to study for the exams. You've got to study for the exams. I'll have to complete my assignment. I'll have to complete my assignment. So if you want to use have to, then you will need to use I will or I shall, of course. All children will have to attend school up to the age of 16. All children will have to attend school up to the age of 16. You have got to finish your medicine to improve your health. You have got to finish your medicine to improve your health. You have got to listen to your doctor. You have got to listen to your doctor. Okay, this is the end of the modal verbs, and I've gone through quite a few, about 13, and I really hope that you would have improved and feel confident, and I'm sure that you do, and you will. Just keep practicing until another video. Thank you so much. I appreciate that you have been practicing with me, but please do like the video and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Thank you. Bye bye now.